Good evening. This is our Action Team for Partnerships monthly meeting, and this meeting is going to be facilitated by our chairperson, Ms. Marlise McCarthy.
All right, guys, first thing on our agenda is our goal and purpose of ATP, which we are the committee of the school improvement team. And Mr. Stewart is going to be late with our student behavior and ODR information, so we're just going to move right along.
Right now.
Okay. Come on, Mr. Stewart. Are you ready? I just got to you on the agenda.
I'm right on time, huh? Just pull the data, y'all, just so we can talk about it. In April, we had 30 referrals that were seen in the office. That's down from 95 in March, so there was a significant drop in the number of referrals that were sent to the office. For the most part, the majority of our kids, when they do get written up, it's for like aggressive behavior, physical contact kind of stuff, inappropriate hitting, instigating a fight, fighting, different things like that. Looking at the data, the places that, broke it down by 4 places where we see the most referrals at, and this is over the course of the year. The classroom is the first place. That's the place that we have the most referrals, with 205. Then the hallway with 29. The cafeteria with 23. And then the restroom with 21. And as far as codes that are, the top 4 codes that we see that are on the discipline, the ODRs, are instigating fights with 48, willful disobedience with 37, habitually violates school rules with 34, and conduct or habits that are injurious to others with 20. And so next year, we hope to decrease the number of referrals that are in the office. Not hope, we will decrease the number of referrals that we get from teachers in the office. To me, this reaps of classroom management, keeping our kids busy. You know, if we can keep them busy and on task, yeah, then we won't really have this problem. It's evident in the month of April. Obviously, we're doing something right to where the number of ODRs dropped from 95 to 30. So.
And could you maybe even pinpoint certain things? Because if we could pinpoint certain things that have contributed to the decrease, then we want to make sure we're repeating those, so that it's not just happenstance that it just happened like that for April.
I know one of the things we did was they have to turn in their behavior folders now with their disciplinary referrals, and they have to follow the continuum. And so if they're not following the continuum,
They're not gonna write them up.
then you can't write them up.
Yes,
So.
yes.
And just making sure you're consistent with that, because I know the other day when we saw some students in the office, they were just coming and they didn't have the ODR or a behavior form, and so we sent them back to class until they came back, and some of them didn't even come back. So just to make sure that they're following those continuums and doing what they need to do.
I watched this video yesterday, and I actually started to send it to you yesterday, Ms. McCarthy, but I figured you were busy, you know, Mother's Day, whatnot. But it's a great video on classroom management for teachers who deal with some kids who are more challenging. And it talks about how you prevent the children from even coming into the classroom. You get them into, you know, on the hallway, and some great strategies. And it comes from a positive approach. Instead of saying things like, nobody's in line with their, you say, oh, I love how Johnny, John, and Jill are, but it's a great video. So I'll send that to you all, and maybe that's something y'all can do for one of your development training with your teachers.
All right. Anything else you have to share, Mrs. Stewart?
And I also looked at the month of May so far. We're at 17 ODRs for the month of May. So we need to basically watch what's going on with those referrals, because it looks like we're getting ready to spike again. It could be attributed to the end of the school year, different things like that, where students really realize that, hey, It's the end of the
It's
year.
But what are the teachers doing, what are they doing in the classroom? Because if I make.
School is
if-
not over.
Yeah, if the
That's right.
classroom makes you think school is over, i.e. no real aggressive teaching, then of course I behave that way.
Well, I know the first week we had testing,
Mhm.
so, it's a lot of underlying factors that are there. I haven't really taken a look at them yet, but I'm gonna dive into it. I just have to break it down and see who's doing what. Because it actually, once you pull the report, it can tell you how many teachers, how many referrals this teacher, that teacher has, and a whole lot of other stuff, so.
Do you find that one particular grade seems?
One particular grade has a lot of referrals. Now, and let me say this, we have a lot of ODRs in the office, but it's not like it's a huge percentage of the kids. It's probably about 10% of the kids that we're seeing on a consistent basis. And now, with check in and check out and stuff, that's gonna help us with that also. So that'll tend to cut down on that number.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna wait for Ms. Smith, before we talk about the 15, 16 programs. And that was, that list of things that we talked about in our March 12th meeting. Like Honor Society, 4-H Science Squad, that's what we have now. But talk about adding the Beta Club, we said Bible class, Student Council, Boys and Girls Club, Braves at Their Best, the Book Club, which is Braves and Books, Helpers in the Office between 7:40 and 8, KCFE, which is our student network, broadcast, PBIS, and then a contest. We need to probably go ahead and get those in stone for our visit, when our parents come to visit us.
Yeah.
This week, we kind of need to know. Hey, Ms. Smith. Well, the next thing we were talking about on our agenda was some of those ideas we threw around on the March 12th, during the March 12th meeting. Some of those clubs that we talked about getting together for next year, so we can go ahead and present that to our parents when JDC comes here.
Right.
So we know are we gonna continue with the Honor Society?
Yes.
I think that's
It's stable.
Okay, what about 4-H?
That is something that I would kind of like to see implemented because a lot of the elementary schools.
Yeah, they do it, but I have never seen
To see
anything
it
done.
act-
We have.
Yeah.
Well, that would make the difference
And
though.
the
I
only
guess it
thing
depends on the person
that-
who's.
Yeah,
That's
somebody like
sponsoring.
Slater might be
The,
good at that.
Mhm.
Like the
Yeah.
only thing that 4-H did this year was the canned food drive,
Mhm.
and for Thanksgiving, I believe it was, but other than that,
And 4-H is so, the agriculture, the
Yes.
gardening,
yeah.
And then we're gonna have that big,
Yeah.
gardening initiative going
Yeah.
on next year, so
yeah, so.
I think that would be a plus.
what do y'all think would be the best for Honor Society?
Ms. Reshaw, what do you think Ms. Reshaw would want to, I just see her helping out a lot.
Oh, yeah, I don't see a problem with
Yeah,
that.
I think she might be good with that. She's a go-getter.
And as a
Okay.
new teacher, that gives you something to stake
Yes.
claim to, you know?
Now, we still have Nurse Kim with the
Oh,
Science Squad.
definitely.
Oh, yeah. Okay, what about the Beta Club? That was something we talked about.
Now, this is the question that I have. I know that Honor Society is different from Beta, okay? But don't you think they're somewhat related?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think maybe we might want to choose. Honor Society or Beta. I think we probably need to just look at those two and see which one we like.
Well, you already have a chapter established with.
Yeah, we do.
Honor
Joseph
Society.
W. Gilbert
Yeah.
chapter.
You
Yeah.
don't have a beta, so you would have to go through all the
Yeah.
bylaws.
We do have an Honor Society
So you might wanna
already.
just go with that
It's a
since you have
chapter,
it
it was with the
established.
Joseph
With the
W.
Honor
Gilbert
Society.
chapter.
Mhm.
And that was the principal prior to, that was the first principal.
Now, let me ask you something about Honor Society, because I know when I came here, I really didn't see much
We didn't do
going on.
anything,
So,
because it was so messed up because of how the third graders were inducted
Okay,
when I was just,
okay.
because everybody was.
Because I know with Beta, you know, they have the conventions and all of that, so is our society
No.
similar to that?
We can't be a national junior honor society because we're elementary.
Middle school.
They only start in middle school.
Okay,
But you can be creative with what
Oh,
the
yeah, we
honor
can,
society
yeah,
does.
we can
Right.
go places, we can
Right.
do things.
We can
Yeah.
set up things for them to really,
yeah, I think we need to
Be
just
challenged.
research that and just see, like, maybe what other elementary schools, just research other elementary schools.
See what they do.
Yeah,
Okay.
and honor
What do
society.
y'all think about the Bible class?
Yes,
Something-
that's a plus.
Now, the only thing about that, and I don't know if y'all know this or not, but with the Bible class, if we have that, it has to be student-led only.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what
We
we
can't
look
do
at.
That'd be
anything,
good.
if they have T-shirts, the children have to sell them, or
That'd
the
be
parents
good.
have to sell them.
Mhm.
It's
Okay.
strictly the
so
parent, the
maybe
Okay.
you
student,
would
the
see if
student
you
or
could
parent.
find a parent who's willing to take
Mhm.
charge of that. And that
So
would,
is that something y'all wanna put?
I think it's something that's needed, because I just feel that when prayer was taken out of the schools, I
That's
just
what
think
messed
that's
up
when we started
everything,
just
exactly. Going down.
going down. I just think we need that. Our children really don't have an opportunity to go to church
That's right.
and be introduced to
The word of God.
the Word of God.
So,
I'm thinking about Kamora's grandma.
That's exactly what I had in mind. I saw her today.
Yeah,
And I
cause
told her,
I
I said, I
think
need to talk to
she
you.
probably would lead it
mhm.
and, you know, just kinda let the students facilitate it, but if we have to have a sponsor
Right.
And even, I know Mr. Nada's a part of our,
at church.
committee, but I know she's
She's
very.
real busy though.
Actually,
works a lot.
She
Yeah,
works a
but
lot.
she's
It's
very
hard to get her
involved
here. Yeah.
with her church.
is there a particular, like say we have the churches in the area, maybe to have Braylon, you know, his church is kind of in this district, Mount Olive, or any of the other churches, see if they wanna have one of their youth ministers, maybe or somebody that comes.
Yeah, and I was looking at, I wasn't aware that, what's his name? The church right here on Shattuck, on the end, like right when you turn right by y'all's church.
That's
Zion
my
Town.
Zion
Town.
Yes, Mr. Reverend,
Right.
Brass.
oh, Brass, okay.
Mhm.
Oh, so that is Brass.
Yeah,
I
but
just-
if you, but any of those people would make for a good,
Brass would be good. He's having bills for houses, right? He would be good. Your pastor would be good, because he's
He's
a
a
teacher,
teacher.
yeah, a teacher, you know, that would be.
What about the student council?
Definitely. We've already had Ms. DeVille coming from J.D. Clifton, has already said that she pretty much wants to work with student council. She texted me yesterday.
Now, my question, with student council and honor society, what's the difference between those?
Well, I know when I was in school, honor society is like, yeah, higher GPA, real, you know, like, for student council, I know when I was in elementary and middle school, you just, like, they didn't have a GPA requirement.
Yeah, this is
Because you were like a boy,
academic-
you
Okay,
survived,
but
but you couldn't,
academically based.
like, you couldn't have
for
any
honor
behavior
society,
Yeah,
but
behavior
student
issues.
council-
You have to have like a-
Okay.
kind of like giving them a
Yeah.
chance.
Yeah.
It was GPA based,
Okay.
but I was, student council and honor society kind of went hand in hand,
Okay.
so I didn't know.
So,
the-
yeah, you can.
Yeah, because with the student council and then with your representatives, you can really get from all levels, you know,
Mhm.
talking about
Mhm.
the children, not just looking at those who have the A's and the B's.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
give everybody a chance to be a part of.
Now, we talked about Braves at Their Best, which is the Boys and Girls Club. Now, I know we're gonna have a strong male presence next year because of, things Nicole wants to do with the men. But, gotta think about the girls too.
Now, you know, we're gonna have the Big Brother, Big Sister. That was another thing that Nicole was
Okay.
talking about. They're gonna bring that in. And also,
We used to do big.
Rustin
big
Kiwanis.
sisters.
No, I keep saying Rustin. I don't know why I keep saying Rustin. No, I was a part of Rustin Kiwanis. That's why I keep saying Rustin Kiwanis. But, Lake Charles North Kiwanis is going to be,
For the boys and girls.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Big Brother, Big Sister programs.
And look, just to say something too, to how to differentiate, I know I'm going backwards, honor society and, student council. Your honor society, you could utilize as for true academia. We
Yeah.
expose them to some of the really challenging things. And your student council, we can make it really about student and civic engagement. You know, so we have elections, mock elections, or they talk.
Yeah, 'cause that's gonna
Yeah.
be, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
so
gonna be coming up.
Yeah, mock
Oh,
election,
it's gonna be big.
And y'all know we can bring the
Yes.
voting booths here.
yes, but you could do that at
Yeah,
John Kerry.
I know exactly who to talk
Because we're
to.
gonna vote the
In
next
Baton
year,
Rouge.
because we go November 2016.
Yeah.
Right,
Mhm.
right, so that would be
that's-
wonderful.
That would be awesome.
Now,
Book club, we said we were gonna have a book, Braves and Books.
now, Miss Trinita,
Yeah.
she came today, I mean, she was filling it out. She already has her ideas pretty
Oh, yeah,
much
because that's kind of what she already had in
set.
place.
Yeah, so she's definitely gonna do like a book club.
Okay.
And I know this year, the idea was kind of thrown around, with the muffins for moms. Is that something?
We're gonna have to, yeah.
But, and I know we didn't do much with the donuts for days between the transition, but
Well, I mean,
going
we
forward
did
for
the
next
2
year.
meetings.
Yeah, but just to, like the follow up with the dads,
Yes.
normally, like
Like
Mr.
Dad
Trahan
Patrol.
will do with the
Well,
patrol
your
and.
mother, your father, son, your basketball thing, invite the dads.
I think we need to have at least 4 events though, I'm just saying like.
Yes, and we
like
used to have
every-
dads on patrol.
Oh,
In
okay.
addition to,
Yeah.
that was a daily thing.
Where they would come and just kind of patrol the halls.
They
Right.
had passes, they had their own
I think if
passes.
we had something like 1 event per 9-week
weeks.
period, that would be good, because you got the donuts for dad, you have the dads on patrol, then you need you have the basketball, and it needs to be something else, so that these kids will,
For dads
See.
or moms or just for both?
Both, but separate.
Yeah.
Separate.
yeah.
Because the muffins for moms is supposed to be like in November.
Well, that's when Mr. Wiley left. They came in and it was just too hard.
Another thing too that, Lady Charles North, talked about, they talked about getting a program for parents where the parents could come in and they could have a lesson like on maybe parenting
We can
skills
do that through this
or,
initiative.
management, time management, even setting up, they have somebody who wants to donate some computers. So we're thinking about setting up
And the
something
parents,
here.
because you know we have 2 laptops already. Now, the only issue with that is parents, we can't log on. That's why we have those 2 just sitting in there. I know at Pam Bell School, Nicole told me they're trying to do a workaround because the parents would have to say they can't sign our AUP because
Oh,
they're
yeah,
not
you're right.
employees.
Right.
They're not
They
students.
messed it up
Right.
when they took the
They
students.
said they used to have student,
Oh.
but you can't log in for a parent because then you just violated. the
Right,
AUP.
right.
So they're like at Clifton, they have all those computers for the parents.
They can't
They
use
can't use
it.
it.
So what do we do though? Because what we do want.
Well, the
we
issue
want-
said, for right now, the issue said they're not giving them
Right.
access.
to do.
Even though everything is blocked. You know, they block the sites, they won't give it to them. So
I just think, like, even with like Parent Command Center,
Now,
I
they
think
want
one
them to check
night.
them out, and I just,
No,
yeah.
not check
They
out.
said we can let the parents check out the laptops, but I have a problem.
I wouldn't suggest that.
No,
I don't-
No.
I-
we're not gonna do that
I
here.
wouldn't suggest that. I mean, until that time, I mean, if you run into the roadblock of the sign-on, there's still other,
Other
you know,
things they can
classes
do.
that we can
yeah,
do.
without
You can-
computers.
Now, could we do this? Well, no, there wouldn't be a need to do that because you have computers at the library. I was gonna say, if we could go like carry the I mean, you know, just, you know what I'm saying, just have somebody being responsible for that and just having like a little bit, because I would hate for them not to become, I'm not saying technologically savvy, but at least a little bit of knowledge, you know, with using the computer. Because they can go on Parent Command Center, you know, our parents probably don't even use that.
Exactly.
The question
Oh,
is,
yeah.
do they even know how to get
To get
on?
on.
Oh, here's
You know, so those
Yeah.
type things that we can help them with, and Success Maker, even to just go and see,
Mhm.
what is my child doing when he comes home and talks about Success Maker?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we could do a class to work around not having that, do a class where we teach them how to use their smartphones to access whatever you want, because you can get your grades off of here, you can check your bank
Yeah.
statement, you can fill out applications on here, you can do Word documents on here, you can do everything. That's why
We
they're
just have to
basically
check out their
saying,
data plan, because they can't log on to our Wi-Fi.
right. And so that would be some of the stipulations that you would say, you
Oh,
know,
hey, you make sure your data plan.
Yeah.
You have a data plan, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, you go to your.
yeah, so.
I just think, I really think that there's a need for that. We just have too many people who are ignorant when it comes to technology and using the computer. I just think that's a really good thing.
And are we gonna move forward next year with KCFE? That's our,
What is that?
network.
Oh, yes, of course. You talking
Because I
about with the
figured we can
TVs
Yeah,
and?
once we get our budget, we can go ahead and buy whatever equipment we need. Because we don't have, I don't know where the camera is.
Like closed circuit, you want
Yeah.
to know? Yes, ma'am.
Let's set that.
Not the green screen.
Yeah.
Is that the green
Well,
screen?
no,
No,
you don't have to use that for the headboard.
But now, this is a way too, that you can bring in all of your clubs.
Yeah.
Like who's responsible for the announcements for this week? Let's do Honor Society this week, and then the next week, let's 4-H highlights, we highlight 4-H and they do the announcements. I think that would be a way to really get these clubs involved and let these other students who are opting, to just not be a part of it, then,
See
it's like,
how they're missing
I
out.
want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Now, PBIS is gonna be in full swing next year.
That's why I didn't even mention it, because I really
Yeah,
don't.
because it's already, I'm really, really pleased with the snacks and stuff that we're giving the kids. And I don't know if y'all saw on the FYI, but, we're gonna have, an end of the year celebration for those students who have no referrals
Oh,
Oh,
good.
good.
for the entire year. Just have a big blowout.
Starting next year or for this year?
This year, it's on the calendar for this year.
And I know Mr. Maxell had mentioned, just in passing about, chorus for next year, how he was gonna try to include those third graders, since we'll only be in,
Yeah,
in
they're
upper
being
school.
Included on one year, so.
Yeah,
might as
Yeah.
so
well.
they had kind of talked about doing that to kind of
Yeah.
increase his numbers
Mhm.
a little bit,
I
so.
think this is gonna be a great.
Scratch the leg.
Mm.
Oh, right. Ms. Smith, the reconfiguration status.
Yes, ma'am, the reconfiguration status, what you need to know. It's
It's
going.
pre-registration.
Okay, what we thought about doing, I just know that, it makes it much easier. When I was at FK White and schools that I attended in Ruston, we had pre-registration. And to me, it just kinda, you didn't have all that paperwork at the beginning of the school year. Now, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if we're still gonna need to update some, cause phone numbers change probably every month. But, so we're probably still gonna need to update it. But it just kinda lets the parents know exactly what is expected. If you need us to help you, because what we do with the papers now, we let them take it home and the parents have to fill it out on their own. This would be an opportunity for us to get that paper and have people working, and we just say, okay, this is, now tell me about the, and just kind of help them out, because some of these parents can't read, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
So, to have them there and help them with it. Ms. Schlesinger also sent me a picture of the
t-shirt.
Right, the t-shirt for next year.
We can
So that would be
put
a
that
time for
on
them
the
to,
big bulletin board.
we could, and that would be a time, they could even order their shirts then. We could have an order to where when school starts, instead of waiting till November, December to get a shirt, yeah, we can start right off the bat.
Would they possibly know what school supplies they will need?
Oh,
Oh, that's
That's
done.
already done.
That's
Okay.
done. That's done. We'll have that there too. We'll have that. We'll have the registration paper, all of the paperwork to fill out, and then the cards, and then the T-shirts, if they want to order T-shirts. But I was thinking, because Ms. McCarthy was talking about, like, upscaling it. Because I was just thinking of just your regular pre-registration, you come, you fill out your paperwork, you go home, eat a hot dog, go home. But she was thinking about doing it really big, to where we invite the community to come out. Maybe we can have a DJ playing a little music on the side, you know what I'm saying? Not anything just real loud and all that, but just a little something just to kind of calm your minds, and then let the kids play, have maybe a little something that they can
So what I'm
play
thinking
with
is
on the
get
side.
these parents before they get to the charter school, because the charter school is doing this.
Yes.
They are doing a big blowout thing to get more of our kids from the district
Yes.
to the charter school.
Right.
And then they're doing like kind of Band-Aid on the recent issue.
Right,
That
right,
just went on at the
It's
charter
PR,
school.
and
Yeah,
it's
I mean, they have
business.
some other issues going on right now with
Right.
behavior. So a lot of the parents are pulling their kids
Right.
now, especially middle school.
Mhm.
Middle school, their numbers since that incident,
Yes.
Kayla said, has dropped significantly.
Mhm.
So it's only gonna be a matter of time before elementary parents start pulling theirs as well.
So since they're trying to do a PR blitz, why don't we do one as
Well,
well?
That's what I'm thinking. I just wanna hear from Ms. McCarthy, what do you think our first step would be?
Well, I'm thinking, meet with all the principals, kinda get.
We're doing that
all-
Thursday.
Okay, yeah.
Are you
get all-
coming?
I can.
Okay.
Get all four of them, all four of y'all on the same page. And basically just showcasing, like what y'all doing pre-registration, but showcasing what the schools have. If Ms. Curall can come out, because let's showcase the things in the district that the charter schools don't have.
Right.
That
Like, if we
technology.
can get the tech, like just one person from the technology center.
Right.
Or from tech, I mean, they're gonna be working, I mean, I know some of them might come out on a Saturday and just tell them, this is all the support that we have in the district that you can't get in the charter
Right.
school.
Mhm.
Same thing with Ms. Curall, and then Trinita would, I know Trinita would jump on that.
Right, and then we can have our pies, our partners in education.
It's like, what is that?
Like,
You saw my face. Exactly, and then if they come, great, but if they don't come, we could, showcase our career day. We can have a little,
The
those.
trifold board.
Yes,
yeah.
those boards with everything we just did with Sasol, because I have some good pictures, somebody else
I
put them
sent you some.
on,
They were on the Facebook
you
page
put them on,
for
Calcasieu Parish Facebook page, put that when Sasol scientists came out, they're not going to the charter school.
Do we have,
We don't have a Facebook page.
But it was
No,
on
but
Calcasieu
it'll
We
be
have
Parish,
the Calcasieu Parish.
District has a Facebook
Yeah.
page.
and that was on it.
You sent them?
I
we
sent
did- okay,
it.
we are,
We can.
but,
There's so much red
The
tape.
only thing with that is, we are responsible for every single comment that
that's
is made on
made,
the
oh,
page.
we can't control that.
So when we talked about it, she said, like, I would have to have it come to my phone, and soon as a message, would have to, like, I can't stop it
Stop.
from going.
Yeah.
But if I see it's inappropriate, I have to take
Delete
it
it.
down, but we can't, I mean, who's
Who's gonna do that? Who has time to do that?
Can't you set your settings on Facebook to where people can't
Can't
post on it
post.
until you approve their message?
You sure can.
Well,
On
there
a
you go.
page though,
Yeah,
keep
but,
it on a page.
Yeah.
Can you do it on a page?
Well, maybe we can research that.
Or I'll ask her, because
Yeah.
it hasn't been since last summer when I went to the class for the, tech contacts, that they told us.
Let's
But like
research
even
that.
if you,
But I was like,
like before we've done where we've created the flyers and they'll upload them and, put them on,
Yeah, they put them
put them
on
on the
CPSB
CPSB
Facebook
Facebook
page.
page. So like if we create a flyer for that day, just email it
And I
to.
said, like, still go out and get the balloons, we can rent helium tanks, we have our black and gold balloons, let Pearl Watson have theirs, and John J. Johnson have
Okay.
theirs.
So why don't there's this company, well, there's many companies that have it, but let's go ahead and start ordering like some pins that say Cumberland Fundale. Y'all wanna
Yeah.
do that, like pins or,
I was
just like.
thinking along the lines of bumper stickers too.
Decals.
Something decals.
Yeah.
Parents put it in their windows and stuff.
The decals that you put on, but you can peel them.
Oh, okay, cause I'm
Not
gonna
the
say not the
sticker.
stick.
Yeah, the decals.
I was telling the decals that you could just put in your window, like
Yeah, and
you
then take 'em,
said,
yeah.
my child attend,
Yeah.
I'm the proud parent of a child that attends Conbury Fundale.
Yeah, I want a flag.
Yeah.
I want a flag.
Well, you might as well get you the thing plastic on the side of your
No,
door.
I just want a flag.
You can get it from,
Yeah.
what's that place we order from?
Oh.
I gotta get your business cards from. Vistaprint.
Vistaprint.
Vistaprint helps.
But I think with like the decals and stuff, that'll start instilling school pride. you know?
Yes.
Oh,
You
yeah,
have to have some
yeah,
pride.
I think so, But y'all, I just feel that with all of these things that are, and I just feel that it's gonna come to fruition, I just feel that it's gonna be
Yeah.
great.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that kind of went into our new business part.
Oh, wow.
But, the school needs for 15-16. This is, I read this article online and I thought I sent it to myself and I probably did. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this before we move on, because I'm not quite done with the reconfiguration. Okay, so what's our first step in making
Thursday.
this? Okay, just
Thursday.
having the meeting.
To make sure everybody's on the same page.
Okay,
Because, I know Johnson can benefit from, well,
Every
almost
last
everybody in
one
my
of them.
parents' neighborhood go to charter school, because the bus comes right at the corner.
well, I'm gonna talk to them before Thursday.
And you're
get
in
their
walking
minds
distance right
From a
to
school.
Johnson.
right.
But all those children that live in that little housing division, that new one,
Yeah.
right next to the school, that's all red shirts with, they don't, they say
Southwest Charter. Like,
LCCA.
yeah, yeah.
But Yeah, so I think Thursday would be the first step.
And it's not to promote one school, it just.
Oh, it's all
trying
of
to
us.
benefit from
Community
it.
schools, oh,
They
yeah.
need- You gotta go out and sell yourself.
This was, just thinking about stuff we looked at for next year, I was doing some research and it was just preparing for a successful school year. And I just wanted to get y'all thoughts before I started working on this summer to present to y'all. But, a checklist. In this article I was reading, they just said how teachers, work so much better with checklists. And I put checklists, like we have a weekly checklist, a 9 weeks checklist, beginning of the year, end of the year checklist. So for the weekly checklist, we would put something like Thursday, my lesson plans are due. Tuesday, PLC, and it's a checklist. So, and the teachers can keep them in a binder, like in their PLC binder, which would be great to keep it, and 9 weeks. Throughout the 9 weeks, did I put a grade in JPAMS?
Yeah.
And they have to check everything off and add random.
We can just
You
go
know
in
where
and-
their binder is, you don't have to stop their class, you don't have to do anything. And even on the 9 weeks, have I made contact with every parent? If not, who do I still need to contact? So when you go in that room, you don't have to disturb them, you could be doing a snapshot, but you also flipping through their binder as administrators, okay, let's see, she still have these 6 parents she hadn't contacted, and you can, whenever you meet,
And then
okay,
we-
well, what's going on with these 6?
Right.
Until they start scratching them off, but they were talking about checklists, that was so awesome.
I think that's nice.
Beginning of the year, end of the, like they have that, we get it done, here you go, you have a weekly one, and everything goes in that binder, and it's just a check, it's no writing, it's just a
Right.
check that it's done.
And then to add to that, because I'm a firm believer in if we contact those parents with a positive
Oh, yes.
interaction
Uh-huh.
before, like at the beginning of each 9 week, we should have a positive contact log where they contact
Right.
the parents,
Right, right.
And that way, that'll go a long way when we do have issues with students, then we'll get more parental support.
And I think, I was,
So every
Well,
9 weeks, contact every student.
yeah,
Right.
you have to have at least one contact.
And
You
listen,
might
Well,
have
no, I'm
more.
saying
Right,
contact,
but
I'm trying to
contact.
contact all of them.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
Yeah, no,
you
have
have to.
one per person, she's saying,
Yeah.
have at least one
Yeah.
per
And
You're
per
supposed to have
child.
at least one.
and
I mean, that was the expectation at the beginning of this year, like, every parent had to be contacted at least once in 9 weeks. No matter if it was good and bad, or, whatever, they had to be contacted.
But I think building on what you're saying is, say like you set a goal, like within the
But what
first
he's
3
saying
weeks of
is-
school, the first 3 weeks of school, first 2 weeks. We're gonna use, first 2 weeks of school, every child, every parent in your class should be contacted with a positive.
Yes.
That way
Oh,
you
yes.
said it,
Yeah.
That's it.
and that way, because you know you're going to have a bad.
And then you
So, but
always,
you've already
like, we
said
tell
that.
them, start off with something positive.
Yeah.
You gotta make it up sometimes.
I'm telling you, it smooths
It does.
it over.
Like, look at what, with the dad this morning.
Mhm.
I mean, he was okay.
Mhm.
I don't know what y'all were talking, but he was,
Right.
I mean,
He
it
was
looked
not
like he came here
ready,
ready to
ready,
do
he
something.
was ready.
But then when he read, okay, he was like,
But he
but
was
y'all done everything. He said, y'all done everything. I'm
So
done.
conference, he said, y'all did what y'all had to do.
Because I was
I'm
getting
done.
Miss Clark and he was leaving out the door. I was like, hold on, sir.
I had said this morning, he was burnt, like, in his face, that wasn't him. Okay.
He had a ball head.
No, the one I seen, he was kinda tall and he had like burnt skin.
I
This
did, but
morning,
Yeah.
he was
spoke
early,
to
I
him.
didn't see
Maybe
him.
I missed
I just,
I said, maybe
Yeah.
I missed it.
yeah.
But I was
Yeah.
thinking, like, if we go ahead and do that, just get that, that's something we can do in our summer plan. Go ahead and get those checklists together. And then when the teachers come in, I was even telling Clement, like, cause I saw y'all went around looking for the contact logs and y'all didn't look like y'all was very successful with
No.
everybody. But give it to them in their welcome binder at the
Uh-huh.
beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So
This
it's
is what you
no,
need.
and then assign everybody a partner. Like Ms. Richard is assigned to somebody, and especially the new people on campus, get enrichment teachers and partner them up. Somebody that they can have as a buddy.
And
We'll just
and
have our
not
buddies.
grade level.
Yeah, not grade level, somebody out
So, yeah.
of their grade.
Right, right.
Especially with the new teachers we have coming on,
Mhm.
give them a buddy. So if they have any questions that they, a lot of people won't come to us, and I don't know why. Sometimes, they think we administrators and we have to tell them we not, and this leadership team don't mean administrators.
Right.
y'all are administrators.
But you know,
the school.
as adults,
But you know, and they won't ask y'all, because you know, we see when they text us and they won't text them, like, tell us this gonna be out. No, you tell her you gonna be out. But you know, just give them a buddy, you know, cause there's a lot of questions, you know, sometimes you think it's a stupid question. You know, sometimes you don't want, like I know with the 5-years, some of them don't wanna ask, like, okay.
no
Oh,
one wants
so most
to
people don't
appear
understand.
inadequate. They don't wanna appear inadequate, even though it's not. People think if I ask a question, I don't care.
Mhm.
People feel that way.
Y'all signed off on it? You signed off on it? Well, y'all.
And on my desk.
You know, did Bill tell you that she's also interested in quiz bowl? Cause she did the quiz
She did
bowl
quiz bowl at JV.
at Clifton, and she
Yeah,
said her
we had
Clifton
quiz bowl
team
here before.
rival, they gave Coolidge this
Tammy.
year some stiff competition.
Tammy did quiz bowl.
And they can be.
Yeah, Theory.
Oh, yeah,
Tammy
yeah.
Theory did quiz bowl here. With Miss DeVille.
I want Ms. DeVille to do whatever she wants to do. I want her to.
Because whatever
do
she
it
don't
her
wanna do, I would
comfort
love to
zone.
do it.
And this is how I feel, I'm gonna say this, and I know this is there, but, I really applaud Ms. DeVille,
Yeah, because she's still.
because out of every teacher who is at JV Clifton,
Mhm.
she thought enough of the children to say, I'm not letting those babies go there without any familiar faces.
Mhm.
She's coming here, she says she wants to be here for those babies, she
It's
is
her
so excited. And I just think that if when we start looking at the children and stop looking at
Mhm.
what's comfortable for us,
Us.
sometimes we have to be uncomfortable to
Mhm.
become comfortable.
That's right.
And for these babies are gonna need a familiar face.
Yeah.
And she's gonna be the only familiar face here, from the looks of it. Now, we do have 2 teachers who were on leave, and I have not heard from them. I don't know if they're coming back or not, so that might kick some people out, depending if we have to keep them or not. Or we gotta keep them if we have to keep them. But it's only 2 of them, so we'll see. And I don't know if Mr. Bill is gonna have.
I think just a reminder to the teachers, when y'all have, whenever y'all meet, every time you meet, that we have to look at the kids as people.
That's right.
They're not a number, that bad one, they're considered stuff.
Well, yeah, you need to come sit in leadership team meeting.
As the
Sometimes
principal
we
said
go
at the
over those.
high school graduation the other day.
Oh.
Did y'all see it?
Oh, yes, I saw it.
Oh, you done?
Oh, no, no. Oh, no, we're
I'm talking
not.
about-
Oh, no, no.
Okay,
Okay.
what happened? Oh. you
The
done?
ladies for graduation?
She forgot to, let the bell do his or her speech, and then people started walking out.
The
And she-
valedictorian?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
And
my
she called out a
God.
particular group of people that were leaving the graduation.
Did she call him a
ceremony.
goober?
She did call somebody a goober.
What
Yes,
is a
once
goober?
again, you got a booger. You gotta look at people as children as people. Do you know what wants to be called out of their name in a public
That's-
In the church.
church
That's it.
or anywhere? We've got.
And then she cursed in the
Yeah,
church.
yeah.
Mm.
So
That's what
that,
happened.
that could be a lesson. I mean, just,
You need to
you
know
have to
about-
treat
Oh,
people as
my
people.
God.
Children, students, whatever, they have to be treated as people.
USA Today,
Yeah.
we'll get all the news on that one.
Second, they come into my phone. Well, y'all, I was thinking, well, this more for like Title I when the budget comes, because I was just jotting down some things for next year, because, the teachers are gonna need a PLC binder and then a data binder, which is gonna have to be separate, because with everything that we're gonna track for next year, it won't fit in the PLC binder.
Oh, we got that.
Okay, then the checklist.
Now, are they gonna be turning these binders back in this year?
I would hope so.
Because if they
Oh,
do,
yeah.
that will be all of those lower grade extra binders that we will have from
But you
pre-K.
can't take that to Clifton because it was concrete.
Yeah, it's bought with our title,
So
because we
maybe we
bought
just
these
need
with
to
title.
collect
You
those.
have to make sure your alignments.
After
Pre-K through
PLC school.
the second.
When is the last day of PLC?
I think we have to meet next week for,
So next week will be the last PLC. Next Tuesday.
needs next year?
Not anything in particular, but just going forward, I think we're gonna have a good year next year. I'm excited about the new curriculum and all of the different things that we're gonna have to put in place. So with the fresh faces and the shifting around, I think all of those things are gonna be in place. And hopefully, the schedule will work out where we'll get to do those vertical teaming.
Well, that's what we're about to start playing with next.
The schedule.
Schedule.
Yeah, because I just think, you know, even with that idea Ms. Griswold brought up in PLC, just
Of
let's
daily
deal with the
five.
daily five. I think that that's gonna be something that's gonna be very valuable and important to the success of the students here. And so if it's going on.
It's established consistency, so like.
Yeah,
across
I mean, I
the
know
board.
that was, and this is like deja vu, because I can remember sitting around the table with you and Mr. Ryan and Mr. Train, and we were talking about school-wide, we're gonna do RDW. School-wide, we're gonna do this, but then when these teachers get back in their rooms, they decide, okay, I'm gonna do it, or I'm gonna do it for my observation, or no. Because that's why they're struggling so much with problem solving, because we don't have a consistent strategy that should be used all the time.
Right.
And we use an RDW,
What does
something
that
like
stand for?
read, draw, write, where they
Okay.
read the problem, they
Join.
do an illustration, I know you got to see it today, but I want y'all to see it every time. And then write is when they go ahead and write the answer out, but they do the write in the read. So like if the problem says, I can't remember the two problems I used, but they were both fractions, in that flip chart. But you go ahead and write your answer statement, because what our children forget to do is they forget to write the answer. And on a standardized test, on their constructive response, if they don't circle the answer or somehow identify that this is the answer, they will not get credit. And RDW just sets them up for that. When we use I don't know what we're gonna call it next year, because expressions do not call it tape diagram. They don't call it tape diagram. So I guess we're gonna go back to model drawing, which is the same concept as tape diagrams, but it's that vocabulary that was gonna make or break our students,
Yeah.
because they're gonna have to know.
And it's
Take
a
that, and
lot
they're gonna
of
have to see it.
vocabulary that's changing.
Yeah. Because number bonds are not called number
Right.
bonds, they're called math mountains.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And did you see the little circles that they have to draw for next year? I mean, tiny.
and what scares me is when they still make the DCAs still make, the DCAs, the system that they use for DCAs are not, I mean, it does not focus on Eureka or Scantron. So, case in point, when I went to Ms. Rayon's class and Ms. Smith was in there to give the test for math. As soon as Ms. Rayon looked at the book, the first thing she said was, my children they don't know about base 10 blocks. With Eureka Math, we're using place value disc. And I said, I understand that, but remember you were supposed, they're gonna see base 10 blocks. They're not gonna see place value disc. That's just a strategy that Eureka Math uses because it's easier to move them and, move them in your place value, but that's just the same, I mean, it's the same thing, but you have to show them that this 100 disc equals this flat,
Right.
that this
The
10
mat,
disc,
remember
the
what's
mat,
The mat,
and
the
then
flat, or the strip.
the unit,
The
strip, and the mat. You have to make that connection. Well, the same thing is gonna happen when we go to expressions. Expressions are gonna use base 10 pieces, but does that mean that you're gonna throw away all your place value discs? No, you're still gonna use that, and you're gonna show them that this is the same thing as this.
Right.
It means the same exact thing, but once those children get a strong understanding of base 10, then we'll be moving from that concrete stage anyway into pictorial, which is gonna help you out. That's where the disc come in handy, because your children that are at a pictorial stage, if you have some struggling students, they can still use those abstract pieces. But, your
So-
higher students will, well, not your higher students, but your students at the pictorial stage may still be drawing those place value discs instead of trying to draw a strip.
Okay. So it comes with a new set of just terminology.
Yeah.
So could you maybe use that in the morning, we do the science fact of the week? You could do the math terminology, the math term of the week as well. And it's just reinforcing.
I think another thing too we need to do in the morning for next year, I know that when certain people are on duty in the cafeteria, it's really, really quiet. But y'all, we have that projector now that we fought for to get in that, in that multipurpose room. If we could use that, set that up and have, you know, just like with a lesson or whatever, it doesn't, I'm not saying just sit
And with
there.
the
I'm
TV
talking
we
about
have coming
something
in there.
fun.
It can be a contest.
But I'm
7-inch
talking about,
TV
yeah, I'm
that
talking
we
about something fun, where they can still talk and everything, but it's, they're learning, and they don't even
Yeah.
realize they're doing it. Instead of just sitting there throwing something at somebody's head, popping somebody on the back.
I just think for next year, we're just gonna have to get a lot of stuff set in place, because what I like, and I wanna show you that, Ms. Smith and I looked at it this morning, they gave us a sample copy of, what school was that? What, Mr. Brinkley, Maplewood.
Brad Brinkley is the principal of Maplewood.
Middle, but it's an
Okay.
elementary. Well, in their schedule. Now, what I did notice, the only thing that he cut short is ELA. Because in lower grade, it's supposed to be 120 minutes. I don't know how they got away with 110 minutes, because they're short 10 minutes in that CKLA.
I didn't even catch that, Miss
And they're 55 and 55.
See, you're good like that though, that's why you're in curriculum.
And then they only had like 35 minutes for social living or something like that. But within the schedule is go noodle time.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So it's like 7 minutes, so you don't walk into somebody's math lesson and they go noodling. And that's what go noodle is, that,
The exercise. and-
yeah, but,
Yeah.
I mean, oh, good. And at any given time, like so right now, I know it's the end of the year, but you can't go noodle during math. Unless it's a brain break, and it's in the lesson plan.
Yeah.
But you go noodling for 30 minutes, I think it's 60-minute math time, and that's,
So, if people are doing that and they clearly know that they're not supposed to do that, what are repercussions? Because that's the part that gets me. That if you know you're not supposed to do
I said she
it,
just walked
if you
out.
have to get a first time warning, okay, we'll let you go.
Now, Ms. Smith did tell us, and she told everybody in here, that she came in and this was kind of like her look and see period.
Yeah, yeah.
But next year, it's gonna be one-time warning,
And that's it.
time.
That's-
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's what she's been pushing, and I agree with it.
I agree,
Yeah.
too. We all
To
wrong.
me, this has a lot of power.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
And I say that all the time, it's not the first time.
Oh, no, he says it, but I agree. I
teachers
agree.
got to be held accountable. We wanna hold the students accountable, you send them to the office and
Okay.
they don't do something
Huh.
that they're supposed, well then, if you're not doing something and you know, if you're doing something and you know you're not supposed to, then you should be held just as accountable.
You're right.
And then we'll close.
All right, y'all, well, y'all don't have to leave, but it's coming. And this will conclude our ATP meeting for today. Oh, this is our last meeting. Until next year, yeah, we, kind of thought we would keep the team the same, since we've already started some good stuff. Maybe get a different, parent contact. Well, you know, since, to me, it's in fifth grade.
Oh,
She would be in something else.
Yeah.